All right, guys. Thank you again for tuning back into this channel. I am your host, Will Smith, creator of a WSC. Today, we have a special guest to you from Heaven's Door. We have my friend Colby that will introduce himself. But Colby, the floor is yours. Please introduce yourself to the lovely fans at home.
Hello, fans. Thanks for tuning in with us. Will, happy to be here. Thanks for having me. My name is Colby Monk. I'm the Chicago brand ambassador for Heaven's Door Whiskey. I've been with the brand since 2017. I was actually the first ambassador ever hired when the brand launched as a part-timer. And so I've really kind of got to see this brand grow into what it's become now. Where we even have our own distillery, which I'll be talking about later. So yeah, really happy to be here and ready to drink some whiskey on a Wednesday.
Man,
It's Whiskey Wednesday.
Whiskey Wednesday. I love it. Actually, sounds like a good idea.
It's Whiskey Wednesday. Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in. All right. Thank you, guys. We're going to go back into this video. Stay tuned. Man, dude, first of all, looking at the presentation, looks beautiful. You have this barrel-ish specimen. You have these three liqueurs. You know, I guess shiny object syndrome. Where should we start?
I guess we'll start off with the brand real quick. So this is Heaven's Door Whiskey. As I said, we launched in 2017. Our owner, Marc Bushala, he actually started Angel's Envy. That was his first brand, a really successful brand, and then he sold it to Bacardi, was then looking for his next venture, and had kind of heard word through a mutual connection that Bob Dylan had bought rights to the name Bootleg Whiskey. This is back in around 2016. What does that mean? It means Bob Dylan's thinking about getting into the whiskey business. You know, why not? He's a Renaissance man of all kinds, and he likes whiskey. So the key thing with that, and one of the biggest challenges that we needed to face was, with this brand and having a tie-in to Bob Dylan, a celebrity in any nature, it has to be done very carefully for whiskey. Very much so, like we are about the whiskey first, and the Bob Dylan kind of branding and artistry kind of ties in really nicely. We are an awarded whiskey, and so that's one thing we had to kind of make sure when doing this, because in the world of all these celebrity tequila brands, not to throw any under the bus, but we all know that there are a lot where there's just a sign off and a signature just to do some marketing fame. So we wanted to make sure that this was kind of perceived about the whiskey with a story to tell. So much that we actually decided to kind of lead in with his artistry and gate making. So we pay homage to the music with the name Heaven's Door, knocking on Heaven's Door. But we definitely wanted to kind of lead with stuff that we thought fans of Bob Dylan may not even know about. For instance, these gates that you see on the bottles here. Bob Dylan has a welding studio out in California called Buffalo Iron Works, where he literally sends hermits that scouring California and bring him all this really cool scrap metal, and he kind of lays it out and has it welded in these like steampunky kind of iron gates that you see here. So each gate on our bottle is actually a representation of a gate that he made. Nice. I even have one tattooed on me here. Brand loyalty.
So, seriously.
When I got it, our master blender at the time thought it was really cool. He sent it to Bob Dylan, a picture of it. And he's like, oh, one of our Chicago ambassadors has your gate tattooed on him.
Dude.
I can just imagine it being like, thousands of people have my song lyrics on it too. Like, that's cool, I guess.
What, have you ever met Bob Dylan?
I have not, and I probably never will. Yeah, I get asked that question a lot, but
Bob
maybe
Dylan.
one day.
Bob Dylan.
Uncle Bob, if you're listening,
He wants to see you.
Day.
We got to bring you to Chicago, man. Let's do it.
But yeah, so the gates was one thing we really wanted to kind of highlight. And you know, this is also stuff that hardcore Dylan fans didn't even know till we launched the brand. He's also a very established painter. He has lots of really, really cool paintings, and we actually incorporate those paintings into a series that we do called Bootleg, which are like these really rare, high-age signature finishing releases that are actually in porcelain bottles, and each one releases a different painting. So right now we're on Bootleg 4, which is just cool. So if you see those out there, definitely grab one. They come in a really cool kind of collector edition leather-bound book, and we're on our 4th release of that.
This is beautiful.
Yeah.
Great history, great presentation. Bob Dylan, you know, backed by a very big brand.
He's also a part owner. So it's him and Marc. They own each equal part. So he is very invested in the brand, you know, on that level as well. And he actually played a part in the blending process of the double barrel, which we'll talk about when we get into the whiskey tasting.
Gotcha. So as far as the whiskey tasting, let's talk about, you know, I guess the process, maybe the story behind it. You know, what makes this different from most Tennessee whiskey?
Absolutely. So we do our bourbon comes out of Tennessee, and our rye comes out of Indiana. We currently have a distillery in Louisville, which we're making our own stuff now for the future. I'll kind of touch upon that after we do the tasting.
Gotcha.
But to start with, this is our straight bourbon. So this is all of our whiskeys are aged no less than 6 years. Okay. So we are a very nice age point. And each one of our whiskeys is very unique and kind of unconventional, and we kind of like it that way. So our bourbon, for instance, this is a 6-year bourbon. It has a really unique mash bill. So our mash bill is 70% corn, 22 rye, 8 barley, meaning our bourbon has a high rye mash bill. We're looking at more than double the amount of rye content in, like, what do you think of a traditional Tennessee whiskey. Also, we do not do the Lincoln County process, which is a sugar maple charcoal mellowing that a lot of Tennessee whiskeys, like your Jack Daniels and like your lower age whiskeys that are kind of meant to be for shots and mixing. We don't do that. We don't want to strip out the really nice, yummy flavor notes that we've had from 6 years of aging oak. So it's just a nice spicy bourbon that also has all those really yummy smooth bourbon notes that you expect.
It smells really premium.
Yeah, 92 proof, almost feels a little hotter because of that rye content.
Okay.
And it's just nice and smooth. Yeah, so, you know, it's got some really nice spicy notes and kind of all those nice, like, baking spice, orange, vanilla, nutmeg, caramel really come through as well with that nice heat.
Yeah, you definitely taste it, and it's very smooth. I love, you know, of course, that bourbon taste. It's a rough start, and once you get to that first punch, you can handle yourself.
Yeah, and you know, all of our whiskeys are at the core meant to be drank on its own. But of course, they make fantastic cocktails. Our bourbon, I love in a Manhattan because of that rye, high rye mash bill. It makes a really good rye substitute. So you can kind of get a nice spicy, a bourbon with a spicy backbone that complements Manhattan really nicely.
Yeah.
Next, this is our double barrel. Okay. So this is our like super fun one. I call it like our blender's baby. So this is actually a blend of 3 whiskeys, 2 bourbons and a rye that we blend together. We aged 6 years in American oak. And then during the tasting process, Bob Dylan was a part of this one. You know, he's a part owner of the brand. He has an idea of what he wants his whiskey to taste like. And as they were sampling the blend, as a direct quote, he said, "I like it, but I feel like it needs to be more like it's living in a wooden structure." So our master blenders are like,
Interesting.
I could just see him. They're like, Bob wants more wood, so we're gonna give him more wood. So then we take that blend after 6 years. We then throw it in a brand new secondary heavily charred barrel, like a level 4 alligator char barrel.
Wow.
These are top of the line barrels made out of Calvin Cooperage out of Kentucky. So we throw it in that for a full additional year. Heavily charred, and what that does is it gives us some more really great flavors of the oak. A lot of those really nice kind of orange peel, vanilla, caramel flavors, and then it also really smooths out the liquid so much that we actually upped this to 100 proof. So this is a 100 proof blend that, you know, right off the back you're expecting it to have some nice heat, but the smoothness for this 100 proof blend is just out of control. Like that's the number one thing is 100 proof whiskeys. You normally have to open them up on ice or water. This, you just kind of let it breathe a bit and it's ready to go.
Ooh.
Oh man. Also, when you're smelling whiskeys, we'll do a little course. So, you know, whiskey's not a wine. You don't want to get your nose all up in there. You're just going to get straight proof. So with whiskeys, you actually want to get your nose with your mouth open, so you have your nasal passage open. An inch above the glass, keep your mouth open. Then you can see those flavors that I'm talking about. Oh, lovely.
Wow. You learn something every day.
Yeah, that's 100 proof.
Wow.
But
It's got some
a
kick.
nice smooth, yeah. It's got a nice smoothness. So this is also I love this in old fashioned. You know, if you're gonna throw it back, I love old fashions with nothing less than 100 proof spirit because we don't want it to be sweet. We want it to have that nice, you know, heat and structure on the back of the cocktail.
Yeah, and I noticed one thing. You know, when you're drinking these, you know, they have a bite, but it's not it's very smooth. It's very elegant.
Absolutely.
Like you say, you can have it on the rocks. You can have it as is, preferably as is, because, you know, these I wouldn't like you say, if you're mixing with cocktails, it'd be another thing. But like just mixing it in like you say, jungle juice, or you're mixing it with other non-complementary ingredients, it's gonna come out really like pointless.
Yeah.
Pointless.
When I get geeky trying whiskey at home, I do a nice neat pour. I do a couple drops of water that actually kind of open it up a little bit.
Okay.
But I wouldn't throw this on anything more than like a large cube.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to really water it down. This is not for that. But whiskey is preference, so drink it however you want at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
So next we will go into our straight rye. This is a really special product, and it's great because we actually have a new rye that just came out, which we'll be talking about in a little bit. So this is our straight rye. This is a 92% rye, 8 barley. What's really unique about our rye, it's aged between 6 to 7 years. And we actually finish our rye in these really rare air-dried French barrels out of Eastern France called Vosges cigar barrels. They're called cigar barrels in the industry because they almost have like an elongated shape that is kind of similar to a cigar shape. They've never before been used in the whiskey industry until we started finishing. So we finish our rye in these barrels for between 60 and 90 days. And what's really unique about those barrels is they're air dried on French hillsides. So in the barrel industry, the method for traditionally drying barrels is they're kiln dried, which of course is a very fast and mechanical process to get things done quickly. So it's a very patient process that allows the wood of the Vosges barrels to be really porous. So for us, you know, these barrels have been used at an experimental level in the wine industry. So we're the only whiskey brand to finish in these really unique barrels.
Perfect.
And I find it just adds a really nice, kind of like a softness and a sweetness to this rye. It almost like a herbaceous kind of peppery orange and coriander finish to a rye of this nature. So it allows you to get a lot of the spice that you're expecting, but in a kind of more approachable, delicate way.
Yeah. Damn.
And what's really cool is this rye now, I mean, what's left of this is gone. We have a new rye that we will be talking about now. So if you're able to get your hands on some of the previous rye, definitely get it.
Yeah.
Because they're done with that. So no more Vosges barrels. Get it before it's gone, you know?
Wow, this is good. I hate to rate, or let's see, your best. It seems like you've been kind of taking a stab at this one, but what would you say is your top to go out of the three?
You know, they're all, what I love about our core line is it's really fun for tasting, like exactly what we're doing now and for whiskey flights. Each one is very different. When I do these big tasting events, I have a lot of people, especially with the bourbon and the double barrel, that gravitate towards one or the other. They're like, oh, the bourbon's for me, or oh, the double barrel's for me. The rye is really nice because I get a lot of people that, you know, either love rye, they're like, I'm a big rye guy, I love your rye because it's kind of like approachable, it's a great cigar sipper. And I get lots of people that don't like rye, especially I get lots of women that come up to me at events and are like, I don't like rye. I tried your rye. I didn't even know that I could like ryes. Like it's really nice. So it kind of hits the best of both worlds. And this is our core line that has been with us since we launched in 2017. The bourbon and the double barrel, I mean, we're available in around 39 states, so we're very widely distributed. You can find us at most of your local liquor stores. In Chicago, I love to go to Binny's just because they always have the best selection.
It's Toys R Us for adults.
But the bourbon and the double barrel are 60 and the rye is 80. So a really nice, mid-range price point for high quality whiskey. So yeah.
Thank you guys for tuning into this channel. Thank you again, Colby from Heaven's Door, for introducing us with the flights. If you guys like what you've heard and also have any questions and liquors and how to get those, please put it into the description, put it into the comments below. But also, thank you guys for tuning into this channel.
And stay tuned for the next one because we're going to be talking about the new releases.
We'll see you guys again soon.